All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And in today's Tackle Talk, I want to discuss a bait and a category of lures that I truly believe you need to have on the front deck all times of the year. Now, for you guys up here, you know that we only get 3 seasons, that being spring, summer, and fall, because our winters, all our stuff is frozen over, all our lakes got that much ice on it. But with that said, you guys down south, if you aren't throwing this all the time, every month out of the year, you need to go out there and give it a shot. And the bait I'm talking about is a spinnerbait. Now, the spinnerbait kind of got put on the top shelf and forgotten about when the bladed jig hit the market. Everybody's focus kind of went straight to that bladed jig. But this spinnerbait never stopped catching them. We just kind of stopped throwing it. So with that said, I will reach for a spinnerbait probably 80% of the time over a bladed jig, only because I can fish it around the same cover, but I think I can do it a little bit more effectively. I can draw, I think, a lot of the same fish that are willing to eat a vibrating jig on a spinnerbait. Now, don't get me wrong, you still need to have your vibrating jigs because there are times where it will shine over a spinnerbait, but not very often. I think the spinnerbait is a lot better in terms of getting bites. It's not as intimidating as that thump of a chatterbait, I think, for whatever reason, but this is what I tend to cling to a lot more because I don't think a lot of guys throw this over a chatterbait. So with that said, there's a ton of information out there, a ton of brands, all that crazy good stuff, and I like to keep it simple. I like 3 brands of spinnerbaits, that being Booyah. Booyah has an awesome regular line as well as their covert line of spinnerbaits, which, if you guys don't know, that was designed by Jason Christie. And if you don't know who Jason Christie is, he's an absolute wizard when it comes to spinnerbait fishing. So buying that one, you know you're going to get a good product. So I highly recommend going out and getting some of those coverts. The second brand that I really like to throw is War Eagle. Don't have to say a whole lot there. Tried and true. Really good brand, holds up to multiple fish catches. Neither of them are very expensive. That's the other benefit to it. The last one I want to talk about is one that was turned on to me earlier this season by my buddy Tyler at DAH Propellers, and that being the Phenix Baits spinnerbait. Now, dude, he gave me a couple of them. I took it and I put that thing to work and caught a bunch of fish on it. So I will link them, their website down below for you guys to go purchase them or look at them or whatever you want to do. But that was a great spinnerbait for me this year, and I got to go make an order. So I will probably be doing that after this video. But hopping into the baits, there's only 2 styles of blade combinations that I carry. First being your double willow leaf. This is the spinnerbait I recommend if you are just getting into spinnerbait fishing or you just want to go out and build some confidence with a spinnerbait. This is how I did it. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, if you asked me if I liked throwing a spinnerbait, I would have told you you're crazy. I hated throwing it for whatever reason. It was just hard for me to get over the fact that it looked so ridiculous. But man, was I wrong. Over the past 2 or 3 years, I cannot tell you the amount of bass that I have weighed in tournaments on a spinnerbait. How many times this thing has saved my butt. But just a bait you need to be throwing. So go pick you up a 1/2 ounce willow leafed spinnerbait. The reason I say 1/2 ounce is because that's all I carry. I only carry 1/2 ounce. I think I can do whatever I need to do with a 1/2 ounce size. I can bump my line size up and hold my rod tip higher, and I can reel this bait in 2, 2.5, 3 foot of water. I can also drop my line size down a little bit, throw that bait out there, count it down, and slow roll it, and I can fish it a little bit deeper as well. So 1/2 ounce all around, great size for you guys to go pick up if you're new to it or just want to build some confidence. Colors, white and chartreuse, and green pumpkin. That's it. Blades, I do silver, gold, and maybe copper, but just silver and gold. Keep it even more simple. As far as, okay, I'll show you this one too. So this is the only other blade color that I tend to throw, and it's a little bit of a secret up here, and that's just some painted willow leaf blades. Now, this is no secret down south. Everybody down there fishes it, especially at like Lake Cumberland or just your Ozark style lakes. This is a really good spinnerbait that a lot of those guys throw. So I don't have to tell you guys about it, but up here, you got to give this a shot in your dirtier pressured fisheries. For instance, I had this on the front deck this year at an Angler's Choice tournament in Northern Illinois on the Fox Chain of Lakes, and a guy looked at it and he was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know they made blades that were painted. So for you guys up here, definitely go give these a shot. It's definitely something fish aren't seeing up here. Now, as far as trailers go for willow leafs, willow leafed spinnerbaits, I don't like a boot tail style swim bait. I think it doesn't match the vibration that the blades are putting off. The blades on a willow leaf spinnerbait are a lot tighter action. They mimic a shad or a little bait ball of shad going through the water. And I think that the more streamlined style trailers, like your caffeine shad, this is a Strike King caffeine shad, or your Zoom Super Fluke, just your streamlined straight tail swim baits or trailers, those are the ones that I highly recommend because I think that they match the action of the blades versus that big, wide, wobbling, kicking boot tail swim bait. It just doesn't make sense in my mind. So moving on to the second category that I throw maybe 10 to 15% of the time. The only other one that I carry, or other spinnerbait blade combination that I carry for that matter, is your single Colorado blade. This is just a big, hard thumping blade that works great in that water less than 50 degrees and probably more than 35 to 40 degrees. So anywhere in between that 40 to 50 degree range to 55 degree range, this thing is a killer. I mean, you could, because of the fact that the blade is so big, it's going to create a lot more drag in the water so you can really slow roll it. As far as weight sizes, you have to have 2 in this if you're going to fish it shallow and deep. You got to have a 1/2 ounce for your shallow water because it's creating so much drag on the blade that this bait really wants to lift. So you got to have a 1/2 ounce if you're going to fish shallow. If you're going to fish deep, you got to have a 1 ounce or something in that 1 ounce area of weight because, like I said, with the drag this bait wants to lift, you really need that 1 ounce to keep your bait down. So those are the only 2 weights you really need though when it comes to your single Colorado bladed spinnerbaits. Colors, white and chartreuse, same exact thing as your willow leaves. Just white and chartreuse, white or green pumpkin for your bluegill. Now, this is what I mean by the trailer selection though. This is the bait that I want to put on the back of my Colorado blade, your big boot tail, because in my mind it makes sense where you have this big thumping hard blade that you have that big thumping hard trailer or that wide swinging trailer that matches the vibration of your bait. Now maybe it doesn't make a whole lot of difference, but I think it does, and I think that I've had a lot more bites doing this and matching my trailers according to my blades. But with that said, those are the only 2 styles of trailer that I use. Now, that's not to say you can't put a craw on here and go mess around with that on a willow leaf, but for me, these 2 are the ones that I get it done with the best. So just simple stuff here. This is just a great one, like I said. So those are the only 2 spinnerbaits that I carry or use for that matter. I don't use anything else. I've got a couple other variations, but those are the ones that I know I can get it done with. As far as rods go, I didn't even bring it out here, but I'll just tell you guys. So, as far as rods go, 7 foot to 7'3" medium heavy rod is going to be perfect for your Colorado bladed spinnerbait. That's a little deeper, and your willow leaf spinnerbait all around. That's just a really good size. For you fishing up in those flooded bushes, that flooded really shallow cover, you want to use a heavy action rod, same thing, 7 foot to 7'3". As far as reels go, high 6s, low 7s for both of these style spinnerbaits. So really you only need that 1 rod. You can get it done with your 7 foot to 7'3" medium heavy power rod with a 6 to 7 gear ratio reel. That's all you need to fish these 2 baits effectively. But I will say, if you're going to fish this big Colorado bladed spinnerbait up around that shallow cover in your pre-spawn, swap over to a heavy action rod. You're not going to have your heart broken as many times or when that 4-pounder comes up and eats it out of the bush and he swims around a branch or something, you got enough power to pull him back out. So definitely recommend a heavy action rod for your bigger blade up shallow. So with that said, line size, the last thing I'm going to talk about here. With this big guy, I like 14 to 16 pound test when I'm fishing it out deep. I won't go lower than 14, but I won't go bigger than 16 when it's out deep. But up shallow, this is the only time when I'm fishing this bait up shallow that I'll use a big heavy pound test line, and it's 20 to 22 pound Sunline Sniper or Sunline Shooter, whatever you like. But that's the only time because I want enough line to get that fish out of that nasty stuff. As far as your willow leafs go, 14 to 16 pound test, that's it. So with those 3 line sizes, you're 14 to 16, and then only on this one, 20, I think you can cover a majority of your stuff out there, if not all of your stuff out there. So with that said, if you guys have any questions, drop them down in the comments. I'll answer them to the best of my ability. Like, subscribe, share this stuff if you guys want, show your buddies, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.